Well, the U.S. has urged Americans in parts of Mexico, including popular vacation spots, to shelter in place after the death of the most wanted drug trafficker. Jalisco New Generation cartel head El Mencho died after a Mexican military operation was carried out Sunday. And since then, suspected gang members, they have unleashed a wave of violence in several areas across the country. One U.S. tourist described what he has been seeing.
It was really scary. We've been coming down here for almost 20 years, and we've always told people to come down and check it out because you always feel safe here. We've never, ever not felt safe. And today was the first day as we left the hotel to go have breakfast and saw all the craziness going on and the violence and the smoke that we were actually terrified. And we saw the people running down the streets, running from the flames and stuff and the fire. And we ran back to the hotel, and then that's when they got the shelter in order place, and we've been here all day.
Well, as tensions escalate and clashes do continue to unfold, we do want to bring in someone who is in Mexico watching this all very closely. Diego Santiago, he's a former Arizona reporter who is now in Tijuana, Mexico. He's also a trained pilot as well. This kind of gives him a unique perspective on the airspace and security concerns, all tied to the situation. But Diego, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. I want to start first with what things feel like down there right now and how you heard the news of what had happened.
Good morning, Allison. I'm currently in Tijuana, Mexico for business. Supposedly, I was supposed to fly back to Guadalajara yesterday, but I was woken up to messages from my family saying that they were trapped at home, that the entire city was filled with cars on fire, businesses on fire, and threats of these drug cartels of shooting people, civilians, around 2 p.m. of anybody that was outside. So obviously, I was thankful that I was safe because I was not in the Guadalajara, but obviously extremely terrified for my family that was trapped, especially my father, who was in a town about 15 miles away from where the Mencho, the drug lord, was killed. So obviously, it was just a bad day yesterday for the entire state of Jalisco.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just curious, you're in another part of Mexico right now. We talked Tijuana, right? And so what is it like being in these other, cities, these other places in Mexico to watch what's happening in Jalisco? How is everyone processing this?
I'll tell you this, we're about a 2.5 hour flight from Guadalajara here in Tijuana. It's a long distance, but most businesses were closed here in this city as well as a precaution. Fortunately, nothing major happened here in the Baja California area of Mexico, but still, I think the government and even the civilians were a little uptight and still taking their measures to prevent something similar to happen here in this city and any other city outside of the state of Jalisco.
Have you heard of any increased police presence, military presence at other areas or maybe even in Jalisco right now, just kind of as a precaution?
Well, from what my family tells me, from what I see in social media, not too much activity from the military in Mexico, which is a little frustrating because, we expect them to be in the streets fighting these drug lords. And the talk in the town is that these guys are able to do pretty much what they're doing, as we can see in the images, and block the city. Of course, there's some presence, but nothing. It falls very short from what most civilians would want to see our army and our police combating right now.
Yeah, Diego, I want to ask you, so Jalisco, you have Guadalajara there, we've been seeing scenes out of Puerto Vallarta. These are two places that are, so heavily attractive for tourists all the time that they go and they spend their money right from all over the country, but especially, all over the world, but especially Americans who go there. Did your parents or your family who is in Jalisco, they feel kind of some sense before that they were safe being in a place that's so kind of touristy, or were there always kind of concerns there?
No, I gotta tell you, Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, the whole state of Jalisco, the town of Tequila is very popular, obviously because of that's where they elaborate the drink. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. If you have a chance to check it out, please do. Do not be scared because of this situation. Unfortunately, once in a while in Mexico, the drug cartels get their hold into the city or the towns, the population, and they try to scare the entire country. I'll tell you this: I haven't heard of any civilians being shot. We've seen some images of the airports being evacuated or passengers running around. It appears that it was all provoked somebody or people to start running, and it caused kind of like a domino effect. So I hope I'm correct that I haven't heard anybody being killed or shot, any civilian. So obviously, yesterday was a bad day. Hopefully, today will be a little better. My calculation is that it will because the Mencho drug lord leader was killed. He's not arrested. He's not in custody. So there's not trying to negotiate. There's
Sure.
nothing that drug cartels
Right.
can do to bring him back. So
Diego,
so that's my
yeah,
hope.
I'm sorry. We're running out of time here, but the last thing I wanted to ask you is where do you guys go from here? What is your family looking at? How are they staying posted about when things are safe to go, back out and resume their daily activities?
Yeah, they're going to be checking the messages from the government to see if this red code is taken off, and finally they can come out their house. Like I said, my hope is that it will. Today there are no schools, and most office jobs are closed. Nobody's really going to work today or to school, so that's a good thing. So today's also going to be a slow day. We'll see how today is pictured, and maybe tomorrow people will get back with their normal lives, Allison.
Yeah. Yeah. Diego Santiago, longtime Arizona resident and reporter who now lives in Mexico. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate your time.